Welcome to the Sport and Society Squad Pod, aka the Sass. Each week, we bring you 3 sport or society stories to break down and give you our sassiest takes. With those sassy takes, we do want to give you a content warning that some of the language used on the pod may be explicit. We ask that you please just be mindful of where you are listening and who you are listening with. With that, let's get into it. I'm here with my co-host Chelsea and Wahida. How we doing, ladies?
Just like live, laugh, kind of loving. I'm really excited for, is it spring forward? Is that what it's called? I just need that to happen.
7 p.m. sunsets. This weekend.
This weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait. I cannot wait.
This fall spring has been nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
that's
nice.
True.
For people
to be honest with you, I didn't know what that meant until like 7 people said it last week.
You'll know what it means in like a week when you're like, what the hell?
Starts raining again.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just gonna like hold hope that doesn't happen. But anyways, before we get into our playbook today, I want to go over a quick huddle. So we're going to cover a few sport and society highlights from this past week so listeners feel like they are in the know with the sports and pop culture world. So here are some highlights that we won't be breaking down in detail, but think are worthy to note. So in sport, in women's college basketball news, Paige Buckers has been inducted into the UConn Huskies of Honor. Snaps for that.
Mm-hmm.
In South Carolina, win a coin toss to be the first seed after being COSEC champs with Texas. I don't know what that means.
SEC.
Oh, okay.
Women's basketball, they got their 1 seed because they both ended tied. They had to flip a coin to figure out who's going to be the number 1 seed.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So are we mad if we're Texas?
Huh?
Are they mad? Are we mad if we're Texas that we got 2nd seed even though we still had one of the best records?
Yeah, that's why it's annoying that they got coin toss. Decided. I don't know if that put them. I don't know if that automatically makes them a 2 seed, or if they would be a different seed.
Really mad then if that was the case.
They might be a 2 seed. I don't know how it works. Sometimes you get the 1 seed automatically based on like winning the championship. And then when the bracket's placed and you're seeded, then you have a committee deciding the seeds because it like bases not just it.
We got to talk more about this. Future podcast.
We'll talk that for later when I break down the March Madness stuff.
I'm like, oh shit.
Go off coin toss. What? That was insane. Okay, that is a transition right there, baby. In NBA news, a civil lawsuit filed by Miami-Dade County has accused Jimmy Butler of failing to pay $260,000 in back rent and causing $100,000 in damages to a house he was renting while playing for the Miami Heat. Dude, what the fuck?
And then he just up and left to
Golden State?
San Francisco. Yeah.
Look at you.
I paid attention last week. Can you tell?
Yeah, I'm so proud.
That's insane. Okay. Philadelphia 76ers announced that Joel Embiid has been ruled medically unable to play and will be out for the rest of the season to rehabilitate his knee. They may petition him to medically retire. They can do that?
I guess.
So. Chelsea, he is the person that we said at the beginning of the season.
Thrombosis? No,
that's Wemby.
He made a statement out loud saying that he wasn't going to play all the games, and people made such a big deal of it. Like, you can't just say that. Like,
and he's already missed like 39 of the games this season. They've only played like 50 somethings or something.
And he's missed 39. Yeah.
So
maybe he knew something when he said that.
He's like, I'm old.
I'm done. Okay, well, good luck to you. In women's basketball news, Unrivaled has reached a deal with the WNBA that would allow them to sell jerseys and collectibles with players' names on them. That is cool AF.
And the players would get a cut. I think that's important to know because, like, currently in the WNBA, players don't get percentages from like their jersey sales like NBA and other teams do, which is kind of fucked.
Yeah,
kind of hella fucked.
Yeah, hella fucked.
Just sell my name. Go off. Okay, that's wild. That's a lot in sports news. In society, in music, the Brit Awards were this past weekend, and Charli XCX was the big winner of the night. She walked away with 5 of the 6 awards she was nominated for, including Album of the Year and Artist of the Year. So the Brits love their Charli. What was that like really famous YouTube
Charli bit? Charli.
Yeah.
That hurt, Charli.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking about. I don't know why. It's not related at all. This is wild and it's going to be confusing. I already know it, but in a little podcast drama, it was announced on February 25th that Alex Earl's podcast, Hot Mess with Alex Earl, was dropped from Alex Cooper's podcast network, Unwell. So some are speculating that there's beef with the Alexes, but we're going to have to wait and see on that one. But
I'm going to have to be real, and I have no idea who Alex Earl is.
I thought Alex Earl was on her own label. I thought she started her own.
Nope. She was under
So I was confused.
See,
the other Alex.
There's Alex Cooper started her own. Well, but they do look
kind of similar. I just Googled her. I was like, oh, I understand why would I know.
It's confusing. Yeah.
What was Alex Cooper's?
Call her
daddy.
Oh, Alex Cooper is call her daddy.
Alex Earl is apparently Hot Mess.
Hot Mess.
Oh, don't know what that one is, but I know call her daddy.
I don't think I ever gave her a listen. She is funny on TikTok, but I never gave it a listen. So sorry, Alex.
Which
apparently
one?
Yeah, Earl. Apparently this one's really rocking my world. It was announced that Gayle King, Katy Perry, and Lauren Sanchez will join 3 other women this spring on the next mission from Jeff Bezos' rocket company. So the girlies are going to space.
That's wild.
It's a little insane, but
I don't understand, but okay.
I don't understand. I mean, it must be something that people with a lot of money.
I was like, I think it's a people thing.
Yeah. I wonder if Gayle King is going to like do a story
report on it.
Yeah,
I'm sure
like
she
that's
is,
why
right?
she's going up. But that's really interesting.
And Katie's going for album inspiration. But didn't she have a song "Alien" or something?
I think so.
Yeah. So
are they just like taking a churn about the globe, or are they going to stop? What is happening?
I refuse to get to know more. I was like, it's already insane that they're getting strapped in and going. I don't want to know what they're doing up there.
Yeah, I don't want to hear anything more than I have to related to Jeff Bezos. Thank you very much.
Could be a future story depending on how it goes. You know?
Yeah,
for real.
So okay,
hopefully it's a safe mission.
Yeah,
is it a mission if you don't have like you're not
a goal?
Actually an astronaut?
Like they're not doing anything. Like they're just going up there.
These are questions that we have. Katy Perry. I hate this transition, but in sad society news, we lost 3 legends this last week. So we learned that Grammy-nominated singer Angie Stone, powerhouse actor Gene Hackman, and iconic actress Michelle Trachtenberg have all passed away. So really big bummer, but sending love to all their loved ones.
Bigger than a big bummer.
Big.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
it's also sad because I think a few of them we don't know. Well, like with Gene, we don't know what happened.
No. His dog, yeah.
Angie Stone passed in a terrible car accident. Yeah, and Michelle was just young. She just, I think, had like a transplant.
Something,
and
like
they're
a kidney
thinking
transplant or something.
Yeah, it's all really sad.
It's just a bummer. So, sorry, not using the right word, Arizhan. It's sad.
Okay.
And then lastly, Lady Gaga's album Mayhem will be out this Friday. So if you have time, give it a stream. That wraps us up.
I like that. Thank you for the huddle, Chelsea. Now, if we are ready, ladies, we can get into today's playbook. But for today's playbook, we'll start by breaking down major WNBA retirement announcement. This one is a doozy. I'm excited to talk about it. Then we will discuss player suspensions. And lastly, we'll finish with a recap of the Oscars. So with that, I'm going to actually pop it over to Arisan to kick us off.
Hello again. Well, my basketball season as a coach has ended, but basketball is all over and we're about to start with March Madness. But the biggest basketball news that shocked, well, maybe it didn't shock the world, but shook the world this last week was the retirement announcement of Diana Lorena Taurasi, aka DT, aka White Mamba, aka GOAT, greatest of all time, is a Gemini basketball badass. And this past week, she announced her retirement after 20 years in the WNBA. She's like known as like one of the best women's basketball players of all time. So I feel like most people knew who Diana Taurasi is. Am I correct in thinking that, Chelsea? Did you know who Diana Taurasi was before this week? God damn it.
I think that maybe seen a photo of her, but I didn't know.
You said you knew her name.
Probably knew her name, but I don't know anything other than that.
Okay. Well, I'm about to tell you so that you know who this legend is. Like literally a legend in women's basketball. She was drafted first round, first pick in 2004. For the WNBA, and she was drafted by the Phoenix Mercury, and she's a franchise player, so she has spent her whole time in the WNBA with Phoenix, which is really
loyalty.
Awesome. I feel like these days, like Sue Bird was like with the Seattle Storm, like franchise players, as we especially saw with the NBA, it's becoming more of a thing of the past, but she did spend all 20 seasons with Phoenix, so I think that's pretty impressive. In 2004, when she came out, she won Rookie of the Year. Before her years in the WNBA, she was a basketball legend. Like in high school, she won like High School Player of the Year back in 2000. She went to UConn, so the same with Paige that we just talked about. With Gino was his coach, still was the coach when Diana was going to school there. She at UConn led the team to 3 consecutive NCAA title championships. What's cool is, which I think just speaks to the type of person that she is, in 2001, so the first one, after not a great performance, UConn lost in the Final Four to Notre Dame, and she vowed, "We will not lose another tournament game while I am wearing this uniform," and she didn't. Like, just legend. She's won 3 WNBA championships, 6 Olympic gold medals. She is the most decorated basketball Olympian. And what was crazy this past Olympics, and she's having to do this all as a women's basketball player. Like when she started going into the league, women's basketball was not getting the attention and respect or money and all it deserved. Even this past Olympics, even with her being the GOAT, she was getting so much flack because they're like, is she too old? She's too old. Well, at the same time, LeBron James is over here pretty much the same age. No one's saying shit about, is LeBron James too old? And she's known for being a very sassy player, which we can all on the court. She talks trash and she will shoulder check your ass just because, like, if you see like highlight reels
to the league,
she'll welcome to the league if she's pissed, or she's like, she will literally just like I was gonna say something that you probably weren't gonna understand, Chelsea, but like she'll like do a foul that's not really a foul, something really hard, like just will like literally like body slam someone. And on the court, she's known for just talking mad shit. And Sue Bird, who went to UConn with her, another GOAT who retired 2 years ago, was saying like, you don't talk shit to DT because it just fires her up. And like, even if you like do a good move on her, if you start talking shit, she's like, all right, let's go. And then she will destroy you. So
respect.
She was WNBA's most valuable player. 2009, she's been on Finals MVP awards. She has won FIBA World Cups. She like so many All-Stars. She is one of the 11 women to win Olympic gold medal, an NCAA championship, a FIBA World Cup, and the WNBA championship. Like, she is just super decorated. And it's really, I remember, actually, I wasn't a DT fan necessarily when I was younger, because she was in like Storm direct competition. And I didn't like Gino and UConn. But anyways, she's a legend. It's going to be an end of an era. She played a lot of overseas ball. Like, she sat out, I think, in like the 2014 WNBA season. She said, I'm going to sit out because her overseas contract asked her to, because she was only getting like paid $100K and they were paying like her like 1.5 million. And she's like, wow. Okay, I'll sit out a whole year in my WNBA contract so that I can get paid and go play overseas.
Shit, get paid, DT.
That's just a little bit. There's been so many great, like, just everyone in the sports world, WNBA, NBA, across the field, like, celebrating and honoring her, and it's pretty cool to see. And so, DT, like, it's been an honor to watch you play, girl, lady.
Hell yeah. I love that you used her full government name. I didn't know her middle name was Lorena.
I didn't either till today.
I love it. But I will say I am sad that she didn't get a like arena tour. You know, where like her final year, I feel like LeBron's going to do this, where every single game, every arena is going to be like, oh, thank you for all your contributions to the league. We didn't get to do that with DT, and I feel like maybe that was by choice. Like, she didn't want all that, I'm assuming. But because we have so much to thank her for, I feel like the league is where it is today a lot. And a large reason for that is because of some of the work that she put in, right? She kind of set the stone not only for, or the stage for current players and how they play, but also like just advocating for like better circumstances for women in the sport. But what I love about her, I said this to a few of my friends, one of my greatest aspirations in life is to be as big of a hater as Kendrick and as much of a menace as Diana Taurasi, because she knows what like strings to pull to get the best out of people, because she's such a tough competitor. And she's like, I'm going to make you better by being my best. And I freaking love that about her. She never holds punches. She's so quick. And one of the clips that I saw about like her retirement was them interviewing all these different WNBA players, and the question was, what was your welcome to the league moment with Diana? And it was all of those things. Arisan was listing like all the older players, the OG players were like, she body checked me, she like fouled me so hard, and then she got mad that I did this play, so she like schooled me, you know, in return. And then all the newer players, they didn't have any of those stories. So it was really funny because she like softened up a little bit. And like just really wants to make them, you know, feel comfortable in the league. But there was one stat that we didn't list off, and it's a funny one. One of the stats was that she has the most technical fouls in the entire WNBA.
She is, like you said, she's
sassy,
tough. Menace, chaos. She does not give a.
Yeah,
she's a Gemini.
So is Kendrick.
When I didn't know I didn't know her birthday, and then when I saw I was like a Gemini, I was like, it makes so much like sense. On the court, she's a menace, but she's known for off the court being the nicest, kindest person. Yeah, but as soon as you step foot on the court, she's gonna fuck you up, and then she's gonna like talk shit about you while she fucks you up. And
we talk about? I was just going to say, can we talk about how, like, she became White Mamba? So, Mamba is Kobe Bryant's, nickname. She went up to Kobe and she was like, I'm the White Mamba. He didn't give her the nickname. She was like, damn. I am it. And he was like, you're right, you are.
It's me. She also, in August 2023, she became the first player in WNBA history to score 10,000 career points. So I think a lot of people thought that this was going to be her last year, this past year. And so there was a lot of games, and even like her final Phoenix one, where they did like honor her. And she's like, if this is my last game, like, thank you all. So it wasn't like a true.
When is she officially retiring?
She's done. Like she's not done. Coming back to the WNBA season.
Okay.
Because the season hasn't started yet. Yeah.
I was like, wait, I'm confused.
She just retires mid-season. No, a season hasn't started yet.
Yeah. Can I snaps to her? I'm a fan through osmosis from hearing all of these things. But at one point, you were listing all the things she had accomplished. I thought you said the FIFA World Cup. I said, what the fuck? She got out there on the soccer field? Not only is she good with her hands, she's good with her feet.
Well, her dad is a international soccer player.
Oh, he is?
From Argentina, yeah.
That's fucking
funny. He played in Argentina, and that's where he met his wife, and they both immigrated from Argentina, but he was a professional soccer player. So, it wouldn't be surprising
if she was good.
Like, yeah, I just won the FIFA World Cup.
Well, you heard it here first. She's going into the women's major.
Yeah, she's actually transitioning.
Yeah, that's what she's going to. She's transitioning to that.
Woo, but they say your knees are always better when you're older.
Yeah, exactly.
Except for if you're Joel Embiid.
Yeah. Well, he is older.
Oh, Joel. Sorry. I was like, I literally almost said, I don't even know who you're talking about. I do. Thank you for that history lesson. Basically, for me, like that was really cool. Congrats, DT. Can I say that if I'm not?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's what this pod is for, so that you can say things like DT if you just heard about her, so you sound like you're in the know.
If you're with me.
Yes.
Oh. Shout out to a legend. But maybe this is time to transition to our player suspensions, which I'm surprised. Like with technicals, as many technicals as she got, did she ever experience any suspensions because of that?
Not that I know of.
No, okay.
Unless like her setting out kind of was like a suspension, but
possibly. Well, anyway, speaking of player suspensions, the Milwaukee Bucks recently announced that one of their key players, Bobby Portis, was suspended for 25 games for violating the NBA's anti-drug policy. They suspended him without pay because he tested positive for a painkiller called tramadol, and that's in violation of the league's anti-drug policy. But Bobby claims that he thought he was taking a drug or a medication called Toradol, which is approved by the league. Like you can use that for pain management. And he is maintaining that his assistant mixed up the medications. And that's why
the
names.
But here's my question. How do you mix up a medication that you
if they're prescribed?
Yeah,
that happens all the time in like a healthcare setting.
It
if
does.
they prescribe the wrong one.
Mix up?
But
I don't know if it's prescribed the wrong one, but you could. I imagine you have some stuff like there. I don't know.
I feel like then it would be like on the hospital, not the assistant who gave him the wrong pill. I don't know. Well, I have questions.
Yeah.
There are questions. I don't know if there's an investigation that's happening, but he did get suspended because the league has a zero tolerance policy when it comes to like drugs. So they interpreted it very literally and very strictly. So he will be out until April 8th, and that is the 79th game of the season. If you're not familiar, there are 82 games in the season, so he's missing like probably the most important stretch of the season, because this is really where like teams really turn it on to try to make it to the playoffs. So kind of a big deal because he's a big rotational player on their team. But if you compare that to other suspensions, like especially those that are off the court conduct, like for off the court conduct around usually assault. In this case, I'm not laughing because that's funny, but it's just coincidental. But it really reveals like inconsistencies with the league's like policies, right? And their disciplinary actions. Okay. So players facing legal issues may receive varying suspensions or sometimes none at all. And it really depends on the case specifics. And sometimes the NBA does their own investigations and the outcome of the legal proceedings too. So suspensions might come after the fact. But for a few examples, Jackson Hayes, who currently plays for the Los Angeles Lakers, in 2021, he was charged with a domestic dispute that escalated into an altercation with the police. He faced 12 misdemeanor charges and received 3 years of probation, but did not receive any NBA suspensions or anything as a result of that. So he was, got off pretty easy there. In 2023, Kevin Porter Jr., who at this time played for the Houston Rockets, he's also a Seattle local. He was arrested on charges of assault and strangulation involving his girlfriend, who's a WNBA player. So that was pretty big, headline because she also played in the league. He didn't necessarily suffer consequences as far as suspensions were concerned, but following the incident, the Houston Rockets did bar him from team activities. That was a team decision, not a league decision. And then when he accepted the plea deal for the charges, and he pled guilty to misdemeanor assaults and harassment violations, he was traded then from Houston Rockets to Oklahoma City and then automatically waived. So he did miss a year of playing the next season, but again, team decisions, not league decisions, at least from what we can tell. And then in 2022, Miles Bridges, who now plays for the Charlotte Hornets, he was arrested on felony domestic violence charges for assaulting his girlfriend in front of his children. And the NBA, these are bad. The NBA conducted its own investigation, and they determined that they would suspend him for 30 games, but they gave him 20 games already missed. They credited him for 20 games already missed. So he really only had to serve 10 game suspension. Probably. Yeah. So it wasn't their decision. He just couldn't be at the games anyway. And then if you all recall, we talked about Justin Kicker, who is now facing charges for, Tucker. Because he's
Justin
a kicker.
He is a kicker.
He is a kicker. But
here's the kicker.
He's facing those charges for harassment, sexual harassment, and sexual assault. But there hasn't been any indication of suspension. We don't know. That's still I think under investigation, but I don't know if the league's doing anything either. And I feel I'm in this house, this school of thought, but some people argue that off-court misconduct, especially those involving violence that to that extent, should incur more severe penalties that reflect the actions, the seriousness of the actions. And I recognize that drug use, for example, can impact performance. So I realized why those are so strict. And personal misconduct, the league can really say that's not our responsibility. They are their own people off the court. But I really feel that reflects their values as a league if they're not taking it serious, So I don't know. The disparity leads a lot of people to debate around whether or not they should suffer more consequences, if their actions off the court should result in more suspensions or heftier suspensions when they engage in that kind of activity. I feel the league has some sort of responsibility to help limit that kind of activity if they are really getting, right? If you say you can't play for however many games and you're not going to get paid, I feel folks are going to switch up their behavior, hopefully, right? But anyway, while the NBA tends to let folks slide, I know fans don't. So when they're playing in different arenas, they hear the full brunt of it. Folks are not letting them off that easy when they go to visiting courts and stuff. But just an interesting thing to think about. But what do you all think?
I've always been on the... I actually didn't know... I feel in the NBA hides stuff better than the NFL. I don't know what it is, but I've been more in the knowing of like shitty shit NFL players have done, but then not facing any.
Like
I mean,
consequences.
I feel like I remember even what was the quarterback's Big Ben from the Steelers, like was sleeping with underage girls, and like he didn't get like any suspension and or anything. And like, you know, Tyreek Hill has like done like so many, like there's so many players. And I think it's just super telling. Obviously, these organizations care about money more, obviously.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like domestic violence and violence, I would say I could argue that that translates on the field in like behavior and culture and things like that, especially if you have people making money off their name, like then that should be behavior that's really, and like pain pills for me is not a performance
Enhancing.
enhancement, like I guess in the way where you're not feeling pain, but it's not like you're getting shot up and all of a sudden you're getting like stimulated extra, you know. It's like you're literally taking probably pain pills because your body's getting beat up. And so yeah, I think there's definitely disparity in the crime and people not getting punished, and people don't make it as big of, I mean shit, even TCU women's basketball,
Sedona Price.
yeah, Sedona, she has been super like so many things, and she's still playing in the tournaments right now. She's not gotten like one game where she's sat out because it's like, well, we need her to win, so we're gonna ignore this.
Just sweep it under
And
the
then I
rug.
just go back to the whole Colin Kaepernick of it all, because that and then like how he got canceled, how his career ended for like protesting and standing up for people, and then all these people that are doing like
Terrible
abusers
things.
don't have to get anything. So yeah,
Do
it's
they
fucked.
have like a standard suspension when you do like any of the like, so say he like what, I can't, you probably just said and
For
I
the
already forgot, but like
NBA, it's
yeah.
standard 25 game suspension.
Yeah. I don't think that like I don't, his in comparison, right, is like, I'm like, this is so dumb. But it'd be cool if they could then do something like that on the other side. So then it's just like, you know what, that like that sucks. But if you do one of these behaviors, it's just standard.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is the punishment. I think that's why it feels crappier, is like they've gone ahead and standardized a process for if you do any of these substances that we ban that affect the game, but they're not doing that with, you know, these other personal things. And I don't agree with it, but I could see like, you know, the justice system in general is not going to give everyone the same punishment. So then how are they going to then apply that and then whatever? So it's a cop-out excuse in my opinion, but it would be nice to see them just standardize for all of those conduct, and then it's just a standard. If you're accused, if that happens, if you do that, this is just what it is. Either
Without
way,
pay.
any type of behavior. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Hit them where it hurts, in their
hit 'em where it
pocket,
hurts,
right?
but then you also have like I forget, man, my brain is not firing on any names,
Monday.
but I think it was the 49ers, the football player that was like, I don't want to play, I don't want to go into the game. He was fucking suspended indefinitely.
Yeah,
I guess
that's
it's like part
right.
of play, but it was like culture and be like, you're not good for the team. And it's like, oh, is someone, you know, is like your coworker who, you know, like beats his wife, is like,
That's okay.
oh, that's
Yeah.
good for the team. Like, I agree, Chelsea. Like, there needs to be standardization, but it's like, even I could see, even if there's going to find loopholes of like, okay, we're going to give you a 30-game suspension, but you've already served 20. So actually, it's only 10.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that'd be part of the standardization that they can't, because it's not happening with this guy who just accidentally took.
That's really true. Yeah, exactly. It also reminds me of when we talked about planting the flag, those rules with like, if it's happening during the game, even during like a break in the game, then it's a game time. But if it's after the game, then it's not. So they can't do anything. I think the same kind of logic is they're trying to apply the same kind of logic here.
Yeah.
Where if it's off the field, off the court, it doesn't have anything to do with the NBA. So they want to kind of keep their hands off. But again, with a league that has that much notoriety and, you know, like influence, they can really make a statement by saying like, we don't tolerate that kind of behavior from anyone affiliated with our organization, but they aren't, which is kind of, it sucks like as a female fan watching, because a lot of these cases are, violence against women. And it's just really like, wow, that it's hard.
Yeah. And the last thing I will say on it too is, yes, it's off the field, but they fucking fine players and shit for stuff they say and do or like post. And so it's like, so you can use that excuse or that reasoning, but it's false because you don't use it for anything else. And it's bullshit. And it's like, okay, we get it. You care about your money. But at one point, like, these folks need to be held accountable. Like, it is crazy that like 16 women have come up for Justin Tucker, and literally they have been like, we're looking into it. I'm like, you can just you can suspend him for now. We're not even in season.
Yeah.
Like, you could just make that saying like he's been on like a temporary leave,
like a probation,
probation, while we investigate this.
No, they don't care. No. But
that was an interesting one, Wahida. I thank you for. I feel like I learned a lot, and some of it was just sucks, but important to keep considering as I watch more sports in the next couple of months. I'm going to transition us to what I was hoping last week when I wrote these notes would be a really fun topic. And to be honest with you, it's kind of a bummer. It's the Oscars recap. And it's not that I'm being really dramatic about it. I think it's just coming after like the high of the Grammys. I feel like the Grammys was so fun this last year, and that had, in my opinion, had kind of been a little bit of a dud out of the Oscars and the Grammys for the last couple of years. So to kind of see this switch up where the Grammys have been really fun and the Oscars was a little bit not happening was disappointing for me as a movie fan. But this past weekend, the 97th Academy Award show was held. Yeah. And you know what? We're going to start by just acknowledging something at the top of this. And the fact was that people were having a difficult time watching the show, myself included. It was streaming on Hulu, Disney, and apparently other local channels that I could not discover what they were when I was suffering the outage. But folks were having trouble logging into their accounts. I personally watched the show. I literally got on my couch at 3:50 because it started at 4 Pacific time.
Wow.
Sat until 7, probably 40. So like 3 hours and 40 minutes later. And two of the biggest awards of the night, literally Hulu just said, thanks, the show's over.
I thought there was an issue on my end when that happened. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So I'll just acknowledge that was happening to everyone apparently all night. Like, I had Googled it later to see like, hey, what's happening here? And people were just like, yeah. And they said that the bug was fixed like an hour before that. And it's like, clearly it was not. So sorry to them, but that blew. But some highlights. Yeah. Hulu, you blew. What? I don't know. That's probably
Who blew?
Not who blew. But a couple highlights from you before I go over a couple awards was Ari and Cynthia did open the show, like we talked about last week, and they both, first off, looked stunning, but more importantly, the vocals were vocaling. They sounded so good. Their mics were fully turned on. Why did I almost cry? I don't know. Like, she did the thing, and I literally was like, oh, like, what? Okay. Selena Gomez was there. She looked stunning. Some people said her look was a nod to Sophia Loren. So I think that was right. But yeah, she looked stunning. Same with Demi Moore. I was kind of sad she didn't win, but she looked stunning. I do have to say, Did either of you see the opening of the show with Conan?
No.
Okay.
Did not.
I got kind of grossed out. I know that the substance, there's a lot going on there, but basically he like crawled out of Demi Moore's body. And and then went back in and looked for his shoe that was missing. It made me sick. I was just kind of like, move it along. Like,
Wait, was she like in stirrup? Like how? What do you mean crawled over her
she
body?
she literally was like, her body was, I think it's part of like a nod to the movie.
Yeah.
But like she like laid down and
On the
he like
stage?
literally it's like a
video,
not
I'm
to
assuming.
explain it. It's a
like
video.
a
But
CGI.
Oh,
they, like,
okay,
filmed stuff before.
okay. I was like, I need
You're
a
like,
little
I
bit.
They did this live.
How
They
did
literally,
she,
like-
yeah, they do that. She like,
Was she in
got
the
her
stirrups? Is that what-
like, was her legs up somewhere? He just crawled out. I
It was
really
a crazy
confused.
opening. I love the imagination though. Somebody get her an Oscar. So she like was laying down and it like her back like opened. I think it's again a nod to the movie, and he crawled out of it, and I can't handle that type of shit. So, blech. And then he was like, I need to find my shoe. And then when he actually, like, the video ended, he came out on stage to me. It was like, that was awkward. Why did we do that? And I was like, yeah, this is fucking awkward. So it was just an okay night. So with that though, I'm going to talk about what the big 5 awards were. So the big 5, the biggest 5 awards of the night, which are Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, Best Actor, and Best Screenplay. I could talk about all the other awards, but I want to hear from you too. So Best Picture went to Anora. Best Director went to Sean Baker, Anora. Best Actress went to Mikey Madison, Anora. I don't know if you're sensing a theme.
Wow.
Best Actor went to Adrian Brody, and then Best Screenplay went to Anora. So yeah, Anora won big, very big for the night. But did either of you catch the show? What did you think? Any thoughts?
I caught like halfway through. I did not realize Anora had taken that many awards home, especially because they didn't really win any of the other awards for the other ceremonies. And I feel like that typically kind of informs how they're going to do at the Oscars. Yeah. So that was a big shocker. That was one of the movies I haven't seen. So I don't know if I need to watch it, but I won't necessarily talk about these big 5 because I feel like they're always going to be talked about. But the 2 wins last night, or 3, was Best Costume Design. I loved that win. He mentioned that he was the first Black man to ever win this award, which after how many, 97 years, 100 years, that really, why is that the case? Like, we shouldn't be first anything right now. Like, you know what I mean?
There's
like, it's wonderful. We need to celebrate it, but damn, it's taken this long. And then the other 2 is Best Documentary for No Other Land, about Palestine. I think they don't have any distribution rights in the USA, but they won, Oscars, an Oscar last night, which is really awesome. And I learned that they are going to be playing at the Seattle International Film Festival this weekend. So if anyone wants to catch that documentary, it's a great place to do it. I'm excited to catch that. And then also Flow won Best Animated Movie. And it was, I think, the first independent movie to do that. And it has no dialogue. So I loved that movie. If you all haven't seen it, I would strongly recommend you watch it. I have ADHD. I was captivated by it, even if it didn't have any dialogue. Like, those animals are my family now. I love them so much. So I saw those wins, and those were enough for me. Everything else was kind of like meh, but I'm really happy those folks took it home.
Yeah, I also did not watch, but I think that what I tuned into and saw was some of the looks, and damn, they were beautiful. Halle Berry, I don't know if you guys saw her dress. That was
she looked like a disco ball.
It was just so good. I feel like I'm not a Selena Gomez fan, but I'm not like, whatever. I don't usually have a big opinion on it, but I felt like her look was amazing. And whatever the last awards was, I like literally said out loud, I was like, damn, Selena Gomez has been killing it with these looks. Just stunning. I don't know anything about Anora, but I am glad that Emily Perez didn't take like a sweep of all those awards. I think Zoe Saldana, though, did win Best Supporting Actress. So I love her. just as a person and an actress. So I'm glad that she got that award, but I'm also glad that Amelia or whatever Perez wasn't getting like all this fanfare, because I'm like, as time goes on, we know how problematic it is. But overall, I was like, whatever. And then the Hulu thing is fucking wild to me. I'm so sick of all this streaming. Like, can't have it on TV, can't see it here, you gotta watch it here, and then you can't even like do you had one job, Hulu.
And it just shuts off.
You had one job.
Fucking do it right.
And we pay like, it's not like their, subscription fee is like nothing. Like, we pay for this, and they couldn't even show us the entire freaking broadcast for something that only happens once a year.
Can I just say also, Conan did call out Carla Sofia like real quick.
That.
And he basically, was kind of like, well, yeah, somebody said it. He got up there and was like, if you do live tweet about the show, my name is Jimmy Kimmel. that he doesn't really always make me laugh. I'm not saying he's a bad comedian. Yeah. He did a fine job, but he's not really my humor. That got a full ass laugh out of me. That's fucking funny.
I think they panned to her, right? I don't know what her reaction
she,
was.
Went like this to the camera, and I was like, yeah.
That wraps up the award season, right? So we won't hear from her.
Well, I don't think
anymore.
The Tonys in June, but that's not really like movies or music,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a wrap for the pod today. Let us know what y'all want to hear from us. I know March Madness is coming, so we will be talking all things basketball coming up.
Basketball. And don't
singing
forget
it too.
To hit follow and subscribe to our show on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, and turn on those notifications so you can stay up to date on all the latest sports and society stories.
And please rate the pod. But in the meantime, stay sharp, stay sassy, and we'll catch you next time.